back to another Toon Kind at 12 FPS. My name is Magic, and today I am here with my very lovely partner and co-host.
Hi, I'm Authenticity. Today I'll be playing Captain Coriolis of the Vengeful Dead. It was fine when they figured the name out.
Uh, and I will say, if you haven't seen, what's the thing? If you haven't seen, Into Silence, Silence of Isolation, at least part 4. I think it's 4.5. It's the one with the combat. You'll know it when you listen. If you haven't seen that, you probably should because this is a spoiler.
Go do, really quick.
Or
We'll wait.
don't. We're not your parents.
No, I think you should.
I
Like,
also think you should because Mira did a really good job on it.
yeah, it sounds like I actually haven't listened.
Fantastic. Hey beloved. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to kick you to the curb. You gotta go watch all of it before we can do this FPS. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no. Alright, give me one sec. I'll pause the recording. And we're back. Okay.
Okay. But that out of the way, I am going to be playing someone called Sunshine. Um, don't worry about it. Uh, anyway, hi beloved.
Mm. Hello. So, God, I don't have my notes. We're going. This is going to be great.
It is, 'cause it's you.
God. All right. Stop making me gay on recording. Anyways,
How about I do anyway?
this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Anyways, Sunshine, your hooves are in wet sand.
Uh, Sunshine, Sunshine kind of like blinks because he could have sworn he was sitting in a chair like not 10 seconds ago.
Mm,
And like I think he just like kind of looks down and like blinks. And there's a what?
mm. And as you sort of take in the fact that, it's very like loose, sort of sludgy sand.
Oh, gross.
Like it's you don't sink into it very far, but you do a little bit. You're going to have a very fun time cleaning that up later.
Oh, gross.
Um,
Disgusting. It's getting in my fur. Why is my fur so long?
mm.
Oh, this is
And
unkempt as hell. Where are my scissors? Uh, keep going. I'm sorry.
as you um as you take this in, you feel warm, pleasant sunlight on the back of your neck, and there's this sort of cool, salty breeze that um, wafts by, and you are standing in sort of this early morning sunlight. Uh, would you like to make me a perception check?
Oh boy, would he. Um, I will note for any sort of person watching this particular satyr, does look rather different, in this instant. But we'll get into that later. A 6.
Mm. You look around, and you are standing on in the middle of what looks like miles upon miles of this wet sand, sort of gleaming in the light.
Oh, you got to be
Um,
kidding me.
and you can see bits of seaweed scattered around. You can see it's actually interesting because you can see like it looks like a sunken rowboat. Maybe a 50 or 60 yards off, that's covered in barnacles and stuff. You can see piles of rocks that are covered in periwinkles, and what you can see of the tops are sort of filled with salt water. It looks like this area should be like deep underwater, but it's not.
Oh, terrifying! How absolutely horrid. Um, God,
Mm,
why is this? Ugh. he he does not like walking through wet sand. He has decided this.
mm,
It's very sloshy. It's hard to pick his hooves up. 'Cause it keeps like doing the suction cup thing where it just kind of sticks to your feet.
mm,
It sucks and it's terrible, and he doesn't like it.
mm. And you can see on the horizon this sort of like the horizon is mostly just, this sandy stretch goes all the way to it. But on one side you see this sort of shadowy mountain. Um it's hard to sort of like make it out with a six. Um but that appears to be the only sort of feature that um you can make out here. You also, by the way, think you might be dreaming. You're not sure.
I've woken up in worse places. Um, God, Sunshine, like, kind of. I'm gonna say, it's like a frustrated shuffle through the sand because, like, ugh, gross.
Mm,
And like, occasionally he like stops because he has to get the sand out. Like, who knew sand could be this annoying? Um,
mm.
cause
It.
it's irritating and it gets all over. It's really rough.
Holy shit. All right.
Anyway,
Mm. Sorry, my cat is insistent on being held like a teddy bear. So if you hear purring, that's it.
criminal activity.
Criminal activity,
Can't believe
regardless.
criminal's gonna get arrested for loitering.
But what would you like to do? You have seemingly um a endless expanse of wet sand at your disposal, with a few features. But the only discernible one really is the mountain.
Seeger's gonna go to the mountain. Or
Mm,
Sunshine's going to go to the mountain.
important distinction.
Important distinction.
Yeah, it's weird because like it's far away, and it does take a very long time to get to, but it doesn't really take a very long time to get to, which is like that your perception of how long you're walking is also kind of fucked by the fact that the mountain appears to be growing a little bit. It's weird.
Sunshine like squints up at the mountain. He had been in the middle of singing some sort of like travel song and got cut off because he ran there much faster than he thought he would. Um,
Mm. Well, you aren't quite at the base of it, really. But at this point, like it takes up like a good third of the sky, and like it's kind of shaped oddly. Would you like to roll me either perception or an investigation?
I will roll an investigation because that is better. Um, 21.
Hmm. You like in the middle of your um in the middle of your song, you stop and you sort of squint up at this dark shape on the horizon, And like that's a kind of a weird shape for a mountain, and the colors are kind of off. Like mountains, mountains. That doesn't quite look like a mountain. And
Huh.
then it hits you because this is not something that I think you remember how but you do know that when a tsunami hits, all the water goes away and then it comes back all at once.
Huh.
Mm. And just as you come to this realization, I think that's when you see a little figure in the distance between you and that's definitely a tsunami, just sort of standing and looking up at it.
A little figure in the distance?
It's hard to tell. They look pretty small.
I think Sunshine just kind of looks at the figure, looks at the giant waves, looks at the figure. Well, a weird things that can happen. It's kind of going
Mm.
to go skip to the figure.
Mm. It's again, you're kind of realizing that your perspective is fucked because like it's rapidly clear that this person is at the very least taller than you. Oh, they're very tall. Oh shit, no one should ever be that tall. They're at least 11 feet tall.
Mm.
Probably more along with the hair. And it's odd looking at them because um their skin is either a very deep sort of bluish purple or maybe this deep blue, and they either have streaks of this bright green in their wild brown hair, or their hair is sort of tied neatly back and it's all brown, and they're standing facing away from you in was either like plain work clothes or this very large, sort of billowy brown jacket. Um, and they're sort of regarding this tsunami, which is now probably maybe a minute away from crashing down on the both of you. It has all but blocked out the sun.
But it's not moving?
It is in fact moving.
It's just sitting there.
No, it is. It's
Oh.
coming closer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm,
Huh. Uh, God. I'm. God. Sunshine. Why are you giving me this? God. That was a 9 on a stealth. Um,
mm,
Whoever this figure is can probably very obviously hear the shifting of sand. Uh, and
mm.
um, are they gonna turn to face it, or are they just gonna keep staring at this wave?
I think they sort of they glance back and you see a flash of white bone. Um, but they turn pretty quickly back to the wave. And you can hear it by now. It is this like it sounds like if all the ocean were taking a breath. It sounds like the roaring of a monster,
God.
and it is bearing down on both of you.
Uh huh.
Mm,
Sunshine's not afraid of death.
mm,
I do wiggle at you. Wait,
mm.
it. has it like crashed over them, or is it still looming?
Um, I'd say by this point, like it's starting. Sort of the crest of the wave is starting to block off your view of the sky. Like it. You maybe have time for one action, whatever action you would like that to be.
First of all, how tall is the wave?
Very. You've seen smaller, temples.
Okay. I'm
Again, it looked like a very large mountain from like a couple miles away. Now it looks more like the sky.
I'm I'm not like, all right. The sunshine in my head is rapidly pressing the flirt button. I am not going to lie. Like just I don't but he's not giving me anything other than just that.
I mean, what would sunshine do?
Hold on, give me a
Magic
moment.
beloved?
Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I am
You sound so angry at your character.
I Sunshine, why do you do this to me? Hmm.
Magic darling?
He's giving me shitty pickup lines. None of these are
Lean into it.
good.
Is he the sort of person who would come up with good pickup lines?
No, you are absolutely correct. Like, all right. This thing is like seconds away from like just fucking. All right. Um. Hey, mysterious figure on the beach. Oh boy, God, give me a second. I am so sorry. This is how we're starting out, beloved. Um.
Sometimes that's how relationships are. One of them flirts, the other one brings a cataclysmic disaster of civilization altering proportions.
Um. Mysterious figure on the beach. Uh. I can't say this.
I I give you soft hug. I Do you
uh.
want to take a break?
No, I got this.
Okay, I
Mysterious
believe in
figure
you.
on the beach. You hear a voice next to you go, you know, I was hoping something else would be crushing on me today. Um, looking up at this wave.
I the 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 very tall figure turns to look at you, and as soon as they look at you properly, like a bunch of the inconsistencies even out. Their skin is definitely a very dark blue. They definitely have seaweed as uh growing amongst their hair. Um, they're definitely missing half their face, and you can see a good portion of skull. and they turn around and they look at you like you are insane. And
Um,
without looking back, they just hold up a hand
would
as
you
if
like
to
a
like,
description of this character you are seeing? Uh,
yes.
what you are seeing is a familiar looking satyr, but not quite. Not
Mm,
quite at all. This satyr is absolutely like fucking decked. He looks like he's going to get robbed if he walks into a town. Um, uh,
mm,
like up and down his arms are these like loose sort of uh bracelets that kind of do. I'm doing like a hand motion. That that just like travel all up his arm.
like
And
bangles.
yes, like bangles. Um, that like clink against each other anytime he moves them. Um, there's there's earrings. There's a gauge. There's some like fancy loopy bits that go back and attach to his horns. Um, there's still like two. These ribbons that he has are nothing. Like they are so much more than what Seeker has. They're nice and they're flowy. And they just look so much better quality.
Mm,
And he is still wearing sunglasses, but God, they look expensive as hell.
mm.
Um,
He looks for he's going out clubbing.
yes. Uh,
Mm,
he also distinctly has these, you know those like neck bracelets?
mm.
There's a few of those around his neck. Um,
Yeah, the figure like um turns around and kind of blinks and
I will
just
say,
sort of
I will
oh,
also say, even the previous version of Dreamseeker that you've seen was not this outrageous on the jewelry.
mm. They they sort of turn and they stare and like without like breaking focus on Secret, they just sort of like raise a hand and behind them the tsunami just sort of like stops. Like it's hit something immovable. And they put their hand back in their pocket, sort of like considering. They go, "You look nice."
Oh, why thank you. You look handsome yourself. Um,
Excuse me.
there's a very sly smile, and he like adjusts his sunglasses.
Hmm. They um, and you see a undead half giant, you've never met before, who do roll an insight check, and I will give you the option of rolling with disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Okay, let me see what I get first. How's a two do it for you?
Oh, you mean the natural one?
Yes.
Definitely taken by your charms. You,
God.
it definitely the reason why they are staring at you like you grew a second head is because they find second heads fashionable and comely on small satyrs.
I lean back. Just for the audience. This was for before Seeker figured out any sort of shit about this, so don't mind him. Anyway,
Mm. Don't be this person at home, kids.
don't be this person at home, kids.
Mm.
God.
And they just go, um, well, evening beacon. Um,
Beacon. Oh, what a lovely name from such a wonderful person. Um,
I um
God.
I and would you like to roll a history?
Uh, before he rolls a history, you hear, I would be more than welcome to be your shining light. Um, God.
Wow, this is them saying that out loud, just like, wow, okay, wow.
26.
26. Um, you were distracted earlier, because there was a lot of shit going on. You know, what with the whole, suddenly you're fighting a whole ass monster and you're surrounded by people you've never seen before. Um,
Well, kind of seen before. How I'm working it is basically like Sunshine knows these things have happened, doesn't feel like he's lived them.
mm, and in like a couple of the quiet moments, you felt sort of this disconnected voice in your head that, like, almost like a faulty radio receiver. You could hear it asking um questions about what was going on, and when they didn't receive a response, stop talking, and instead you just sort of got this feeling of concern and faith, and the feeling that someone out there believes that you can take care of yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this is definitely that voice, this, sort of low, rumbly voice.
Oh, so you're the one who's always been on my mind.
I.
So very,
What?
very lovely to meet you. Um, uh, holds holds out like a delicate hand,
Mm,
for them to take if they want it.
gosh. I I think that they do just sort of absently. They kneel down to, like, just sort of give it a awkward shake.
Their hand gets pulled in, and like he rests his forehead against it. For a moment before pulling it away. Um,
I. Eh, uh, like, I think that they watch him do this and they look at their hand and then they put their hand back on his forehead as if to check for a fever.
uh, when they do that, he seems to like grin a little bit wider, and if they pull it away again, he also gives it like a quick kiss.
They, like, snatch it away, like, what? Huh? It. What was, they don't know how to respond to this.
Oh, don't worry, darling. It's all right to be speechless. We can talk more later.
I've. Hmm, I don't know how to phrase this, but are you high?
Uh, Sunshine pauses. Kind of like his face doesn't read anything. For a moment, it just no, I don't believe so. Um,
Hmm, okay. That's. I can't tell if that's worrisome or not. Um, And oh boy, I should probably roll. What do you think? Insight?
Uh, yeah, insight. Insight will work.
16.
What do you want to know with that insight?
They they're sort of scanning his face for any hint of what he's doing, any hint of like where he is to be acting like this. Like they don't know where to start.
Uh, well, alright. I need to roll deception for one thing, and one thing only. Um, so give me a second. I'm going
Mm.
to fucking lose it. Oh my god, he failed it! He fucking got under the 60. Alright, first of all, Coriolis, you can tell that, he, he is, he is flirting with you, but it's kind of half-hearted, in a sense. Like, he does think you're interesting, and, like, probably wants to be friends or something, but doesn't actually know how.
Mm.
He thinks you're neat, and doesn't quite know how to express that yet. So he's pressing a button on the flirt. Second of all, it looks like he's looking at you like he's never ever seen you before.
Oh boy.
Um, there's a third thing. Uh, third thing seems totally unconcerned with the tidal wave blocking out the sky. And
Mm.
also very unconcerned at being at the bottom of the ocean, which you do know that Seeker kind of has a fear of. It's not as intense as his fear of boats, uh, but like open bodies of water like that, he almost drowned once. You know how it is.
Mm. He'd rather not.
He'd rather not, and also it's salty.
Mm. They they're sort of paused, kneeling in front of the satyr, and no insight necessary. You see them go on a face journey with like sort of this like flustered, but in a sense of like they don't they don't have like a way of responding to this socially. They don't. Yeah. And like it's a lot in a very short span of time.
Fair enough.
And like that shifts to sort of like this not cold but sort of like searching look, and then it sort of settles into this very quiet sort of compassion and grief and soft unknowable emotion, and they say very softly, you don't know who I am, do you?
I think I remember a face like yours, dear.
Mm, well, half of a face like mine. And they sort of smile. And it
Is that actually your skull?
mm,
You can see his eyes kind of dart sort of like move behind the sunglasses, uh like focusing on just the skull part. Um, I am going to
mm,
roll a wisdom save. Give me a second. This wisdom save is going to dictate if he asks or not. That was a 9. His Like he reaches his hand up like halfway, like he's going to go touch it, and then like kind of pauses.
Mm,
Can I touch your Can I touch your skull?
mm. You know what? Yeah, let's get you out of the brine. And they move to pick him up, sort of watching his face um for like any indication that he doesn't want it.
Uh, he looks slightly surprised at being scooped up like a fucking baby.
Mm. And they position him so he's sitting on the arm on the side with the skull so he can sort of sit there and peruse at his leisure.
Oh, I am getting picked up today. How lovely.
Mm. They don't seem to be anywhere near as flustered as they were just now. They seem to have their feet back underneath them.
I wiggle at you.
Mm.
God.
And they stand up with him like that, and hey, you're up really high.
God. He kind of like looks sort of at the ground, and just gets like a little cat face. You know the one.
Mm.
God. Uh, and he will like kind of like poke at their skull.
Mm. Yeah, it is skull. Um, it seems very clean. It seems taken care of. Um, the algae that's there it seems to be have been like carefully cultivated.
Mhm.
Um, in like it so it doesn't take up the entirety of their face, but also there's something there that isn't just an empty skull.
Mhm. He.
Oh, one sec.
Okay. Do wiggle. Hello, audience. It's just flirting the FPS. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. This is the button that Sunshine has given me. Because Sunshine actually fucking flirts with people. This is fucking. I don't. I shake.
So while you were calling this FPS the flirting FPS, my brother was in my room. um
I'm so sorry!
it's fine, he's walked in on weirder. Anyways,
Concern. Uh,
okay, anyways,
uh,
what's Sunshine doing?
Sunshine is Sunshine. Uh,
Sunshine is Sunshine.
there's, I think he does get like rather close to their face to like look inside the skull.
Mm,
Uh, casually.
yeah, they seem unbothered.
Hmm.
And
I do wiggle at you.
while he's looking, the half giant goes, I wonder if you have any questions.
Oh, questions. How did you get so handsome?
I worked very hard and I ate my vegetables.
God. Hmm.
They're just like, they shoot him a wry look, like, mm,
God. Uh, I'm. I do wiggles.
mm,
I'm.
Like they're just sort of they're standing there letting him like fiddle around. They will if he sticks his fingers inside their skull, they will like react slightly, but they were prepared for it. Like it's slightly sensitive.
uh, yeah, he definitely has. I am so sorry.
Mm, just like it. Okay, easy. It's um that's not necessarily designed to be touched.
Are you undead? This is fascinating. Um,
Mm,
there.
mm,
I think he has like he has started poking around. Just like inside of the skull.
mm,
Congratulations. Your skull is being poked at. Um.
wonderful. They like to think the Academy.
Hmm. Questions, questions, questions. Oh, where are we going on our date?
I they're like it. Do you remember setting up a date?
I mean, you picked me up, so I guess, and we're going somewhere. I just assumed someone as dreamy as you would take me somewhere romantic. Um, he is being like he has like the hand over his forehead.
Mm. They like tilt his head. They tilt their head the other way. Um, and he can see that he's getting a wry look.
uh, God. But maybe it's just the helpless dreamer in my heart.
They they are coughing and definitely not giggling.
Oh, when will it be the day someone strong and brave and kind and sweet will sweep me into their arms and carry me off into the sunset?
I'll keep an eye out, shall I?
Whenever shall I get my knight in shining armor?
Perhaps it will follow your day in shining armor.
I'm sorry, follow the what? This is me magic.
Perhaps your knight in shining armor will follow your day in shining armor. You know, after your sun in shining armor sets.
Uh, Sunshine kind of blinks. Kind of like blinks. Like, oh yeah, that's the title that lunch people know him by. Um, right, that. Uh, but he goes back to being melodramatic, which I will say he is like his position, like he was sitting on the edge of the arm. Like there's one leg that is like hooked around one of their shoulders, and he is like leaning backwards, like he's leaning like out of the like out of an
Mm,
armchair,
I please don't
almost
fall
upside
10
down.
feet.
God. If only,
I
if only a helpless romantic such as me. Oh whoa, oh whoa.
like they're just standing there waiting for him to get it out of his system. Sort of like I think that like in sort of like it's weird because they didn't say anything. And also they didn't, they haven't shot you any looks, but there is sort of a stray thought in their voice of like, oh, he's not going to be happy when he remembers.
I don't think I'm ever happy when I remember.
I well, and I think that they just sort of like they turn back to the tsunami and they go that I think that's true for a lot of people.
What is that tsunami about, by the way?
Oh, that's one I saw when I was younger.
Ooh. Oh, that feels like a story. Um, he
Kinda.
repositions to be like leaning against their shoulder, uh, sort of like right by their head.
Mm, it's like it's that can't be comfortable.
No, no, it's quite comfort for me. I do stretches in the morning. I'm very
Okay,
flexible, you know.
okay. Oh, Coriolis.
Coriolis. Uh, it's just,
Mm.
uh, God. Hmm.
Captain of the Vengeful Dead.
Oh, a sea captain. Oh me, oh my. God, more leaning in closer.
They're looking at him like he's insane again. Have you ever been to shore? Or have you ever been to the shore?
I have no idea what that means, but you can take me anywhere.
To the shore.
Sort of blinks.
The shoreline? Where the land ends and the water begins?
Well, I've been to port towns, but
Hmm.
I'd love to go there with you.
It. Hmm. Give me one sec. Can I ask what the last thing you remember is?
Like the last thing I remember, 'cause the last thing I remember was getting drunk and going to bed. Very comfortable chairs.
You got drunk?
Uh, yeah. Sunshine nods. Um, see, we got back from fighting the five-headed Hydra thing. Um, very good show they put on, by the way. Uh, God. Uh, got back from that, went to the ship. There was a weird screening process. Don't think I've ever quite done that before. Really weird, makes your hand tingle. Sort of like shakes his hand. Um, and we were all kind of shuffled off to bed, and I sat down, read a lot of notes, got drunk, and went to bed.
Well, that's about 15 of my questions sorted out. And we've never met.
I don't believe so, no. Again, I'd remember a face like yours. There is sort of like a caress across the cheek, except it's Coriolis' skull.
Mm, you. Mm. You know, you don't have to flirt with me for me to keep talking to you, right?
By whatever do you mean? Of course I'd flirt with someone as beautiful as you.
I'm an undead half giant with half of a face.
Uh huh. He looks completely genuine.
Tell you
Here.
what,
Mhm.
I'm. Hmm. I genuinely don't know how to say this.
Say what?
You don't need to do anything to keep me talking to you. I like spending time with you.
Well, I've never spent time with you before.
Mm,
I'm sure. Oh, what was the title? Hold on. This is Dream Logic. He pulled like a set of notes out of his pocket. Would you like to roll a perception check?
sure. Your perception is? Dang. 9.
9. All right. I don't think you quite catch it, but I'm going to give you enough so Coriolis might be able to figure it out on their own. Um, there he pulls out like a sheet of paper that looks like some sort of notes. There's a beginning section saying like, oh, if you forgot your memories, here's the importance of true names. There's an entire section about that. Because that is something that's rather important to Seeker in particular.
Mm,
And then there's like, if they don't remember what their name is, like, there's a note to like ask the voice inside their head to get like a baseline because Coriolis does know about the nickname he calls himself, which is a good baseline to know if you don't remember your name.
mm,
But there's also the explanation of three titles they have, and you only are able to read Seeker and Beacon before like he snaps the book shut. Um, and oh right, Seeker. Weird name. Don't know what he's seeking. Um,
you hadn't told me.
what?
You never told me what you were seeking.
Oh, he gets a funny look on his face.
Mm,
It's one of those like just like the mention of Seeker having told what the title means, kind of like that's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen.
mm.
But kind of brushes past it slightly.
But you remember your own name.
Oh yes, of course I remember my own name. Why wouldn't I?
Good. But you don't remember Beacon.
No.
Mm. You are one of the most talented singers I've ever met, and I have met quite a few.
Oh, why? Thank you. He says, pretending to be humble. He's definitely saying this like he knows.
Mm. I have watched people undo hurricanes with their voice. That, and they nod back at the tsunami, that started life as a song.
Oh,
And yet yours was the most powerful voice I had ever heard.
they like he's laying down in a different position in their arm. Um, and like does a nod of like do go on.
Mm. And in a moment when there was nothing but darkness, when there was no indication that things would ever be okay again. Your songs, your music, your spirit were the only light we had to guide our way. That's why we called you Beacon, because you were our light in the deepest darkness you could ever imagine.
Ooh, I like that title.
Mm,
God. He he is looking smug. He has a smug cat face.
mm, that's fine. Normal Seeker, they think it deserves the reminder of how much their how much his song affected them. So they leave it be.
Mhm.
And they pause. Um and they start to set him down and sort of reach for their lapel, but they pause and they look at him and they hoist him back up and they go, "If I take off my shirt, you're going to be insufferable, aren't you?"
uh there's there's like an eyebrow raise of no, no, of course not, of course not.
They look.
Please, I promise I will keep it to myself.
Hmm. Swear on your curiosity.
I'm sorry?
Swear on your curiosity that you're going to be fine and normal, because if you aren't, you don't get to see what I was about to show you.
Fuck. God, he says that out loud.
They're chuckling at him.
Fine.
Thank you. And they put him back down. I'll say on a rock so that his hooves aren't in back in the sand. Um,
He looks miffed.
mm, they take off their jacket. Um, and they unbutton their shirt enough to shrug out of it, and they turn so he can see the lyrics on tattooed across their shoulder blades.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you recognize this song?
Oh, of course I do. Seeker walks over to it. Um. Oh God, what did I say this song was?
Mm.
I I I'm I think I'm getting two facts mixed together. But oh God, I had dusk.
You don't actually have to say what the lyrics are.
Okay. Um, it's just of course I know these.
It was your song.
It was my one.
It was your song.
Uh, you can feel him like kind of squint at it and like you feel like a thumb run over where the words are.
Mm,
Uh, that kind of would make sense.
mm.
Hmm.
And they put their shirt back on all the way, and they button back up,
God.
and they stand with a little bit of difficulty. This person probably has some back problems, and they offer him the same arm to perch on.
Sunshine Sunshine squints.
What?
Are you having difficulty with your back?
Not more so tonight than normal.
Hmm. Sunshine is squinting. Um. But he does take the arm. Oh, Miss Emmy's lying outside my room.
Mm. Oh, one sec.
Hmm.
Here we are. Anyways,
Mhm.
hello?
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, you were saying.
Does sort of take Coriolis' arm to like go sit on again.
Mm, this time they have his legs in sort of a loose hug. He's still sitting on the arm, but he's a little bit better supported.
Hmm.
And they go, yes, that's probably the most important thing I could tell you.
Hmm. Uh, one question.
Just one?
I could have more, but
Mm.
I know this is probably somehow a completely unrelated thing. Uh, does your back issues have anything to do with why my legs feel fucked up normally?
Hmm. I don't know. You've never mentioned your legs bothering you.
I really fucking should. They feel weird. Gods.
Mm. I mean, usually you have your shoes on, the
Shoes.
horseshoes.
Horseshoes.
Mm.
Horseshoes?
That's why I bring them up.
Oh, for the love of uh, and like he brings his hands to his face.
Mm.
At least tell me they aren't like iron or something.
They look
They they look?
like they're sort of giving him sort of that like raised eyebrows, like, yep.
Oh, for the love of Seeker, you're an idiot. Um,
Mm.
he says this in a a done tone of voice.
Mm. Well, like they're going to say something and they like look up at him and they like purse their lips.
Hmm. I do wiggle.
I think that like, didn't you just start walking towards the tsunami?
Yes?
I don't think that iron horseshoes outweigh. And they look back at the like mountainous wave of water. Um, Literally seconds from bearing down on the both of you.
Well, alright. To be fair, if we get hit by that thing, um, does a hand gesture at the tsunami, I don't think I'll be able to walk, period. However, if I am wearing iron horseshoes that A do not work on goat hooves and B are iron, that could that probably would damage my hoof pads if they weren't properly, I don't know, shoes? I
Mm,
hate shoes. He gets like a look on his face.
mm. But, well, no, I don't think so.
Don't think so. What?
Oh, I don't think that they're related. Um, my back problems were situationally created.
Hmm. Mm. By what sort of situation?
I mm, was doing a lot of hard work for a very long span of time without the resources for self caring.
Sunshine gets a face. Like, ew,
Mm,
gross.
mm,
God.
regardless, it's fine. I'm slowly taking steps to correct.
Uh huh. I'm gonna roll an insight.
Mm,
That's a nat 20.
mm. They certainly believe it, but um, they're also well aware that some of the people who care about them don't necessarily agree. Um, it and they might be sort of ignoring that because it's slightly convenient. It's like are they're doing better, but they're like to them better is enough. They don't need good, they just need better. Um and they are just casually ignoring the fact that those aren't the same thing.
Sunshine looks very unimpressed.
Mm, what?
I have a feeling that you're lying to me.
I I don't think so.
You're not truly self-caring, are you?
I am. It's
Are you?
I'm
Are
doing
you?
better than before.
Can you do even better than that?
Well, you make do with what resources you can.
Do you have the resources to do better?
I will once some things are squared away.
How many things do you need to square away before you focus on not collapsing to a miserable pile of bones?
Well, and like they're actually like thinking that like, well, the ship repairs are underway. No one needs a repair run. May needs new shoes and some clothes for school. Sharky is going to probably need a little bit of an allowance for spare parts. And like they're going through like basically an expense list. Like for their ship, for all of these different names. Not really anything for themselves on it. And they finish up with so probably once those things are sort of in ship shape, if you'll excuse the pun, then I'll look into
Will
um
you?
maybe a few provisions.
Will you? Because what it
Yeah,
sounds like to me is you're going to
probably.
keep allocating your resources to other people rather than yourself. And then you'll never get around to just you. Because there'll always be something more, something different. Your shipmates will need more parts. Of course they will. They need more funds for that sort of stuff. Of course there's always new clothes needed. There's always new this. There's always new that. You'll never catch up. You know this.
I have an oath to my people.
I think your oath would. What is your oath? Tell me your oath.
They look at him, and for a second, the roar of the tsunami comes back. Um, and they sort of tilt their head up to the sky. Um, and then the moment passes, and they go to do right by them, to be strong for them.
How are you going to be strong if you're going to let a bad back cripple you?
I'm already dead. It's not going to cripple me.
So you wouldn't mind if your spine got removed?
Seeker. And they're like giving you this like look as if this is an argument that you have had a lot of times before. Um and like they're listening. They're not discounting what you have to say, but they are just very quietly stubborn.
You may be alive right now. Alive in the fact that you are up and kicking. But what's going to happen when all of that crumbles?
You mean narratively alive.
Yes, narratively alive. What happens when the consequences of your actions, uh, by not dealing with a very obvious problem that could probably be at least a little bit alleviated, comes back to bite you? Because it will.
Mm, then I deal with that.
Hmm.
I'm not I promise I'm not putting off these things forever.
Are
But
you?
it is important to
Are
me.
you?
It is important to me that I see to it that my loved ones are protected. That is a luxury that I had for a very long time.
And what does your loved ones think about you in turn? Do they not care for
They
you?
worry. They they stop and they give him a look like it's very mild, but there is a very quiet. Mm, you're nearing crossing a line with that one.
If they care about you as much as you care about them, why aren't you doing more for them in this aspect?
Mhm. I think that they pull him down off their shoulder into a hug.
There's a slight like sort of squawk sound, like oi.
Mm. Mm.
No, no, get. Ah. Mm,
Do you want me to put you down?
no.
Mm. They hold him for a very long second, and
I
it's
feel like
warm
you're
and it's
annoying the
safe.
problem.
Mm. I how could I ever? And they when they settle him back on their shoulder, or actually we probably let him hang out like in their arms, but a little bit more loosely. Um, like their eyes glance over the jewelry and the bangles and the colors, and yeah, trust me, it's I some of the more basic things. I think will probably sneak up on me sooner than I would like. But I promise you don't have to worry,
I'm not worried. I'm
sunshine.
telling you, you're an idiot.
Mm.
Oh, what is it with you
It,
emo types and always doing this sort of shit? Um,
they laugh at him.
God.
It's like, just, you sound as if you're talking to Laura.
Talking to who?
Lore, you call him protagonist boy.
There's a look across his face. It's, oh yeah, I kind of remember him.
Mm.
Yeah.
The sort of like gentle, like half smile across their face drops a little bit. And for some reason, it's really easy to like read this person, and you don't quite know why, but there's a little flash of grief. Not despair, but grief.
Hmm. I wiggle.
Mm.
I wiggle more.
Mm.
Just
You don't you don't remember me at all.
no.
You don't remember the ship,
Nope. I don't think I've.
the captain before me.
Shakes his head.
Do you want to?
Uh, kind of, kind of thinks for a moment. Well, noting I was able to find absolutely no fucking information on Seeker's person, which is my person, about this event, and I will say I am very highly curious about it. I think I would.
Thank the storm, it's not my decision then. And it's the emotion the emotion of grief sort of shifts and changes. Before, like maybe it was grief for Seeker. Now it's grief for, you're not sure, you, for someone longer past. It's odd. It's odd.
Mm, me, magic crying, because I think I know what this is.
Mm, I'm sorry. You um you requested a date.
Oh, yes, I did, I did.
Don't don't start again, but let me show you something. And they swing him back down into the sand. Um, and they walk over to the wave of water, and they sort of stick their hand in and sweep it to the side like a curtain and duck through the opening.
He's following after.
Mm.
Secret tunnel! God.
And um you look up and you are in this sort of oddly shaped room. Um and it's strange because it's brightly lit. It seems to be nighttime, but the the darkness outside of the porthole seems to be the wrong consistency. It seems blacker than black. Um but inside is nice. There's some bookshelves. There's a couple of um very comfy looking chairs and bean bags and sofas and duvet, like however you want to sit. There's something very nice to sit. Everything looks like it's sort of been patched up in a way. Um and Coriolis is taking a seat in one of the sturdier looking chairs, and there is a um there's a little tray of looks like little sandwiches and some some refreshments.
Uh, Sunshine, ears kind of sort of perk up and twitch around the room, cause this is a library.
Mm,
And God, I wiggle. Um, sits in the seat closest to Coriolis.
mm,
Um, actually, Sunshine. He sits on the arm of Coriolis's chair. Um,
mm. They sort of they look at him like it's this room is nothing but chairs.
oh what? I quite like this seat.
Have a sandwich, and they hand him a cucumber sandwich.
He looks. No, no, I'm not doing that one. Uh, I can't. Sunshine, no. Um,
I
Sunshine,
think that maybe he opens his mouth to say something, and they're like, "Don't! You're in the domain of a god."
I'm in the domain of a what
This is Dreg's sitting room, more or less.
now? Ooh, fancy. God.
Dregs is the goddess of the bottom of the ocean,
Hmm.
the goddess of flotsam.
I have to tell her she has a nice place.
Hmm.
I haven't been to any
Yes,
godly domains before.
we're about 10 miles under the surface of the ocean.
Ooh. He looks absolutely delighted. Uh,
Hmm.
he does take that sandwich and eat it. Um, without checking it over first at all.
Mm, they they themselves have sort of a ritual of they take a sandwich, they peel back the bread, they switch the toppings to the bread and peel back the other side, and then they eat it. Mm. And they go, this is where we woke up.
God. I do wiggle.
Mm.
Just where you woke up. Who's we, by the way?
We were the survivors, more or less.
Ooh. Does that mean everyone's undead?
Well, not you. But
I am
yeah,
vaguely disappointed about that.
don't don't be. Everything tastes weird.
I I can't eat half things regardless.
Mm.
What if they taste a little bit funny?
Well, who knows? Maybe one day it'll be your turn.
Uh
And they eat another cucumber sandwich.
he looks vaguely intrigued by the thought. Um I
And they go on. There were Nona, my first mate, our healer. Um, Sharky, our ship's engineer now, and little Lemna and little May. May in particular has taken a shine to you, although all of us think you're pretty grand.
uh he kind of like puffs up slightly. Like, yes, he is pretty grand, isn't he? Um
Mm,
uh God. So full of ego, this boy.
mm. I wanted to show you this room because sooner or later, inevitably, you will remember. I hope, because I
Because you
this is cruel of me to say, but I don't think you're that lucky.
uh he looks sort of befuddled.
Mm. And I wanted you to see the moment that we regained hope, that life started again after something that was too terrible for words. And they turn in their chair and they regard something that you didn't see before in the corner. And it looks like, a group of five people sort of huddled on the floor in blankets. Um Sort of in one sort of clumpy mass. You can recognize Coriolis, with less seaweed in their hair, and sort of this hollow expression. And in their lap is a little dwarf toddler who's sort of clinging to their shirt as hard as she can, and an orc girl, maybe 8 years old, maybe, sort of, who's wrapped herself around the arm of it, about, a good 75% of a dwarf, um who's sort of leaning against their hip and scowling, and sort of is clasping her hands very tightly in her lap to keep from shaking. And on their other side is a gnome who's just sort of curled up in a little ball, and their jaw looks heavily bandaged.
Mm.
And the Coriolis, the present day Coriolis, just sort of regards them solemnly, and they say, I wanted to show you how what you will remember affected some of the strongest people I have ever met.
Mm. You get no read on his face.
Mm. And I think that they reach over and they take the sandwiches and they pull them out, and they're taken by this sort of thin, kind of raggedy woman who crosses across the room with them. Um, she's got one eye in the middle of her forehead, and sort of this like uncomfortable look on her face, like this sort of rough, sort of like ramshackle person. And she sits ungracefully on her butt in front of um the huddled group and holds out um the cucumber sandwiches, and there's a very long moment where no one takes them. And present day Coriolis rises and sort of gestures for you to follow, and um they exit through one of the porthole doors.
Mm. I wiggle. Sunshine gives like one look of curiosity at the group. Um,
Mm,
I'm going to roll just just a straight intelligence. Uh, just a straight intelligence to see if he can connect dots. Fuck it. Hold on. That is definitely a roll. I'm not going to count that because I fucked up the numbers. Um, there's Coriolis can't catch it. They've already moved through the porthole, but there is a look of remembrance for just a second before he winks it out, and he follows after them.
mm. And he emerges onto the deck of a boat, a very small one, sort of a fishing vessel. And um, Coriolis is seems to be um, securing some sort of anchor, um, and they have some similar cucumber sandwiches laid out, and some books. And this one actually looks like it's actually like a nice time.
Mm. Huh.
And it's actually it's a very strange boat. It's got two sort of stabilizers off to the side, um, and then this very distinctive sort of mast situation with several sails, that can be sort of angled, um, as one pleases.
Mhm.
Um, like it's definitely not anything like um Sunshine has ever seen before.
Mhm.
But Coriolis handles it as if they know what they're doing, and as they do, you can see flickers of a much younger face, more purplish skin, it's less bone exposed by a long shot. Um, Maybe a little bit shorter, a little bit chubbier. But as they come back to settle, those sort of flicker away.
Mm. Uh, does Coriolis want to notice something?
Sure.
As Sunshine kind of sits down at the table, um, he he had a shovel slung over his shoulder.
A shovel?
Yes, a shovel.
What's that for?
What's what? Oh, huh. When did I get this? Um, he kind of like looks at it, looks it over, sort of shrugs and puts it on the floor.
Can they take it up?
Yeah, sure.
Is it a grave shovel?
Um, give me a second. Um, it. Yes, it is.
They sort of look at it. They look at him.
He gives a shrug.
I think they
What?
just sort of lean it against the table without a word.
So, what do we happen to be now? Oh, is this a good date location? Oh, this might actually be a good date location. He says, looking around. Picking up sandwich.
I I guess it's this would be my first boat.
Your first boat's fancy.
It's not actually. But that's kind of you.
Uh, Sunshine gives like a grin. I
It's
mean,
I'm like they're looking at him like very perplexed. Like it's not though.
well, I haven't really properly seen the ocean.
Oh, yes, you have.
Ooh,
I
have
had to
I?
fish you out of it the other day.
Was my balance off kilter enough to fall into the ocean?
Mm, you climbed up on a snowbank, and then you fell off the snowbank.
I gotta. Oh wait, this is half dream logic. Terrible. I can't write my. I'm going to write myself a note in the morning. Um, saying how. God, whenever I get those memories back, he has to know. He has to know. God.
That he fell in the ocean.
Uh, no. Uh, I. Oh, how do I explain it? Oh, how do I explain it? God.
That his 17-year-old self thinks that he's a bitch.
Yes! Yes.
You're really just sort of you're drawing circles around your sort of mental health, aren't you?
I have no idea what you mean.
Mm, be kind. You deserve it. Be kind.
There's a kind of childish roll of the eyes.
Have a sandwich and be kind.
I'll take it into consideration for such a looker as you. Um, and he takes a sandwich and he eats it.
He just sort of give him a look like, please just eat your food. Mm,
Cease and desist.
I think that you get like you sort of you get like a little like fragment of at least he doesn't know about and you look down and there's some like your shoulders are covered in this sort of heavy brown cloth and you look down you are wearing the jacket that they were originally wearing that they left in the sand. They have not noticed. They're busy fiddling around with a little device that they've pulled out. I don't expect Sunshine to know what an astrolabe is.
Uh, Definitely not. However, they are looking at the jacket and it's just like, I assumed we'd be dating first before I got your clothing.
They stop. They look up.
Uh, he kind of like twirls in it. All of his bits and bobs make like little jangly noises.
And they just like they're making sort of a Kermit face at him, like what? Excuse? Like it's. like you can sort of sense that like they have taken a thought, they put the thought in a box, they've put the box in the closet, they've locked the closet, they've sunk the ship, the room the closet was off of to the bottom of the ocean, but you can still hear the box sort of rattling. Like it's if you want to roll to like sort of discern their thoughts through the mental link, you can.
What do I roll?
Um say a straight intelligence or wisdom.
I'm gonna go with that intelligence. 14.
Actually, I will have them contest intelligence. Intelligence is that's good, but not by much. Mm, I'm going to give them disadvantage. Okay. You poke, and you like it feels sort of like you're stoking the embers of a fire. Um, and like there's a little flare of emotion, and it's just like embarrassment and oh boy, I didn't think this through, and oh boy, now he has ammo. And you get a snippet of the conversation from the library with yourself from Coriolis' perspective. Um, it's like one, that's what you look like? Okay. Um, another, well, you sure know this now.
Sunshine.
And and Coriolis like looks up from the astrolabe like, excuse me. What was that?
Sunshine is silent for a moment before he just bursts out laughing.
Oh, for no, no, no,
Oh
forget
my
that one
god.
too.
Oh my god, I've rom-comed myself. Oh god. Oh, this is
They,
hilarious. Oh, this is delightful. Oh, this is delightful. How the hell did
oh,
I rom-com myself without noticing?
like it's. I think that like because for a second they're just like, oh, for fuck's like. For a second, their guard goes down, and you get a snippet of a different conversation of like, do you want to invite like rom-com shenanigans into our live speaker? Is that what you want for us? Like they explicitly said they like this this is completely and wholly of Seeker's own machinations, and like they're just like they have their head in their fucking hands.
Oh no! What?
It's not that funny. It's not that funny.
Oh god. Oh boy.
They pull the jacket so that it covers your face.
There's slight foiling. Get off, off, off.
Mm. Like they're not keeping it there. They're just like they have covered the boy.
He gets it off of his face, and it's just his face is like a slight violet color because he's been laughing too hard.
Mm.
It's just okay, 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 okay. I think this is hilarious. All right.
I'm glad one of us does.
Uh, he pats them like on the arms. Just all right. I'll go easy on you because this is fucking hilarious. Goods. Uh,
Downright charitable of you.
Good. I will say, his side of the link has been kind of quiet. Um, but there is a distinct feeling of like, oh, Oh, finally a rom-com. Oh, finally a rom-com. Um, kind of like the anticipation for something has finally started to catch up. Like it's finally started to happen.
They sort of cock their head and they're just like, "Have you been looking forward to this?"
Looking forward to what?
They reach out and they poke him uh
Ah,
in the chest. It was, I'm sure, it makes sort of a jingly noise.
it does.
Um, and they go, "Why do you feel like anticipatory? Why do
I
you feel like you've been looking either forward or for this?"
never been in a rom-com before.
That's what you said. Word for word, that is what you said.
No, I've been looking forward to it.
I hmm. I don't. Do you think that hmm entering a relationship for the genre is a good idea?
He sort of blinks. He blinks again. Well, I mean, I don't really want some of the other ones. They're kind of bloody.
I mean, this is fair,
Could
but
ask for a three-part tragedy.
I okay. Um, hmm. I really don't know how to explain. Hmm. I'm having trouble because this isn't my area either. But typically, when you're like, ah, yes, I will date this person or I will get marry this person, it's because you like them in sort of a very sort of specific fashion.
Uh huh.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that you have been keeping this going because you think it's funny rather than because you think I'm your one true love.
He gets like a look on his face, like, eh,
Hmm. It's you don't actually want to date me.
why not?
Well, for one, because you don't remember a thing about me.
He stares.
They stare back. Just like it's. You also told me at one point that you're aromantic, so they do a shrug.
That that doesn't sound correct.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're unsure.
Mm, it. Hmm.
Actually, I'm gonna roll them in intelligence. Sunshine.
Mm.
Do you know what actually a romantic is? No, that's a 10.
Can they roll insight?
They can roll insight.
21.
Uh, Coriolis, if Sunshine does know what a romantic is, they definitely do not know the correct definition of it.
Aromantic is when you don't experience romantic attraction to people.
I'm pretty sure I feel that.
Oh yeah? Are you I don't want to tell you your feelings. But is it possible that you just want to be friends with people?
Yes?
Hmm.
I do like making friends. It's
Mm,
fun.
friends are good.
Friends are good. Don't know what this has to do with being aromantic, though.
Mm, well, hmm. For a while before I realized I was aromantic, I just sort of assumed that um the sensation of really wanting to be friends with someone and thinking they were, interesting or fascinating or, just even good to talk to was the same as wanting to kiss them. And then eventually I realized that kissing involved putting your mouth against someone else's, and that was just sort of, oh, okay. Maybe not.
Hmm. Interesting. He's taking in this information very seriously.
Hmm. They um they take a saucer of tea, or a saucer and cup of tea that has appeared on the table because dream logic, and they sip it.
God. He's he's thinking. He's doing a hard think.
You okay over there?
Yes?
Well, I certainly don't mean to tell you your own emotions. Whatever is true for you right now doesn't have to be have been true earlier or needs to be true later.
Huh. I mm, give me some time on this one.
Hmm, you have it.
Actually, I'm just going to skip over all of this for now.
Fair enough.
Mm, like, he also takes a sip of tea that magically appears.
Hmm.
His dream logic.
And for the record,
Mm,
you don't we don't need to be in a rom-com together for us to be close. I consider you one of the closer friends that I have.
Sunshine kind of nods. Well, I'll be looking forward to both getting to know you and also probably remembering you in the future.
Hmm. Kind of sigh like, yeah, me too.
Hmm.
sort of a stray impulse that comes across their mind. Um, as they sort of study him and their eyes fall on their coat, is to start arguing with him over the coat because it's and like they haven't sort of realized this, um, which is probably why they aren't actively hiding it. But like, it's kind of fun to argue with him over it. It's like it's just it's fun. They get his attention.
uh, hmm. he he has like a small little cat face for a second before it kind of fades a little bit again. And I I do want to ask one thing.
Certainly,
Has Seeker mentioned any sort of how do I phrase this? Mm, oaths of silence to no longer tell tales.
I look at you, Magic. Does Coriolis know about the big one
Uh,
in so many words?
Coriolis knows. I do believe it was brought up that he can't speak about the ship, or at
Mm,
least he can't speak about like 'cause I believe that was a topic of conversation. Like he wouldn't talk about it.
mm,
Actually, there's
and
multiple different conversations where he wouldn't talk about the ship.
you, I believe, have an oath of silence about the events where we met on the ship.
Huh. Well, uh, the shovel kind of like clatters against the ground. He takes a sip of tea.
Mm,
Well, can't say much about it, but that's good to know.
mm. I admit that I know that you hold that oath sacred, but
Oh, I would.
I can't help but wish that you would be released from it.
Sunshine takes another sip of tea.
Mm.
It's I will say it's not something given out without a purpose.
Well, I don't know if it was given to you or if it was something you took upon yourself.
Probably something I took upon myself.
Mm.
Well, maybe I mean it could have been given to me. Uh the shovel kind of like clatters again. Shut up, symbolism. Um he says to the shovel. Um
They reach down and they lean it against the table, sort of give the handle a pat.
it's a shovel.
Mm, I know. They go, It's not a good tale, but this, whatever genre you decide to make it, this is precious. And they sort of gesture at them, him, the boat, the dream, the fact that we are here, the fact that we are ourselves, and that I get to spend my time with you. That is something I will never take for granted. And if there's one thing that I hope I hope you know, it's it's that.
Uh, choreo, choreo, words.
Mm.
Sorry.
And I'll say, like, it's as they say that, and they sort of give him sort of this very gentle smile. Um, he for a second he feels like it doesn't like restrict him, but sort of the coat sort of compresses a little bit, like someone's tucking it further over his shoulders.
Mhm.
Mm.
It.
I just take a sip of tea.
Mm. I'll see if I can't leave something to see if whoever Seeker was can get it through his thick skull that he should appreciate time here.
Mm. He I'm not a follower of tape or greenlight. The only reason that I know the term narratively alive is because Saker considers himself narratively dead.
Like actively dead?
Not a part of the story anymore.
Huh?
Again, it it's not something I'm familiar with, and he is reluctant to talk about even that, even with the people who were there.
uh, the the shovel kind of like rumbles again.
Mm.
Why? God, he makes no fucking sense. What? God, he's he's thinking.
Mm.
Like, you can probably hear some of his thoughts. It's just like, but if he's dead, why was he? Why was he in the group? Because that would make him like a character. What?
Mm.
That doesn't make any sense to Sunshine.
Coriolis just sort of lets him stew, lets him sort of digest, and mourns this bright person.
Hmm.
who, with all of his flaws, is still still him.
Yeah. Uh, the the shovel falls over again, and Sunshine like takes his leg away in time to not have it hit him in the leg. It's just symbolism. Stop. You're being really annoying.
Mm, perhaps it's time to switch venues. Do you have any suggestions?
Uh, mm, different venues. Oh, you know someplace I haven't been in a while. All right. How do we scene
Where?
change? Why do you ask? Don't you want it to be a surprise?
I'm trusting you.
Come on, it won't be bad. All right. He kind of like stands up,
Mm,
takes a look around. All right. Scene change, scene change. Also, would it be all right if we took a break because it's been 2 hours?
oh, yes, absolutely we
Come on,
can.
just, boy.
Especially because it's I don't there's still shit to talk about somehow.
I I faceplant. All right. I'm gonna go pause my recording. Maybe take a walk around the house real fast. Um,
Same.
all right. Uh, we'll be right back, folks.
Mine is already paused.
Oh, shit.
And we're back.
Hi. Uh, do finger guns. I have to do descriptions now. I didn't think about this when I was going and took a walk. Whoops.
Sorry, dear.
Uh, I totally have brain cells. All right. I will say, you guys, like, Sunshine kind of looks around, and there's like a door to like the inside of the boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sunshine goes up to the door and like swings it, uh, kind of like facing towards him. Like, so it's a pull door rather than a push. Um, Miss Emma is in here now, and I think she might start whining at me soon. Um, but uh, Seeker opens the door and kind of walks through. Would Coriolis like to follow?
Mm, they will.
Um, you're Coriolis. Uh, Walking out onto the other side, you are kind of hit with like a blinding light because it's really bright
Mm,
out here. Like it's really bright. Um, and as your eye adjusts, you're not. It's the air's cold. Like even you can feel it. It's there's snow. Uh, it's little more than like an inch or two. Um, Hi, Miss Ems. Yeah, you're gonna start whining at me soon, aren't you?
oh,
Oh, you
it's the
definitely are.
baby.
Oh, you
The
definitely
puppy.
are. Come here, babe. Let me pet you while I finish this up, okay? Yeah. All right. I can no longer type. Uh, whoops.
I pat you.
My hubris. I am now leaning back in my chair. I am so sorry. Um, but the area you walk out into, it's got these tall pine trees. With like it's full of needles, and they're also covered in snow. Um, but you it's those are the first things you notice. The second things you notice is you've walked out into a garden.
Hmm.
It's oh boy, it's a bit of a rough garden because it's not really sheltered from like the storm, but it still seems to be growing. Oddly enough, and
Hmm.
there's things like pumpkins. Maybe Emma, did you just poke your head on my hand? Sorry. Um, there's things like pumpkins. Different sort of fruits. Some of these fruits do not look like they should be growing in winter time at all, but they're standing fast. And uh, Sunshine kind of like stretches and walks through this garden with ease. Like he's been here 1,000 times before.
This is beautiful.
Thanks.
They aren't they aren't touching anything. They don't want to squish any plant.
It's my mother's second pride and joy.
The first being you.
Yes, the first being me. Uh,
Hmm.
he gives a big old grin at that. Um, and
I I don't actually know where you're from, I don't think.
oh, I'm not surprised. It doesn't really have a name. It's just the village.
In the mountains. I've never been this far inland before. Well, I suppose I still haven't, but
Hmm,
it's beautiful.
thanks. There's a lot of snow. Good
Mm.
for throwing at people. And
They look at him.
he's still moving. Um, and he leads them over to a bench. Um, First thing Coriolis may notice about this bench is it looks like they could sit on it comfortably.
Hmm.
Like it is tall enough they could sit on it comfortably. It is made for a person of a much bigger size than something like Seeker.
Hmm.
Probably made by someone of a much bigger size than Seeker.
Yeah, they sort of look at it and look at him like it's is that giantish make?
Oh yes. Uh, I can't remember that woodcarver's specific title, but uh, the woodcarver does excellent work, especially um when this is literally the size of miniature furniture to them. Um, you know
Hmm.
how it is.
They smile at bench. They don't sit, but I haven't seen something like that since I lost contact with my fleet.
Huh?
That's heartening.
I mean, do you want to have a look around? There's gonna be a lot of things of giant maker around here.
Kid like that.
Uh, Seeker grins. He was gonna go direct them to go like sit on the bench. No longer doing that. Instead he walks over to the fence and hops it. Uh, he hops the fence.
Mm,
It's not a very tall fence. Coriolis could carefully step over it if they wanted to. Um,
they probably do.
yep. But would you like to roll a
There's a
percent?
little bit of a hop to make sure that they clear it, but also,
It's a dream fence, Coriolis.
mm,
Would you like to roll a perception check?
yes, please. 12.
Um, Coriolis, it's odd. It sounds like this place is populated. But like it sounds like there's background noise, like people talking, maybe some kids playing in the distance as Seeker leads you through town. Sunshine leads you through town. But it is odd because any sort of thing that would even look like a dream person has been replaced with some sort of wooden statue.
Mm,
Um, they're just kind of vibing. Like there's some vibing around like a little market area, a very small market area actually. Um,
Mm,
There's some that are bigger. There's some that are smaller. As wherever he's leading you, it's more towards like the cliff edge area. Where there's probably some like sheer cliffs. You can see these more giant hulking sort of statues. Um, that I'm not going to have you roll anything. Are probably supposed to be giants.
mm, they are taking this all in. I think that like um like if there's any writing in Giantish, they take a moment to like stop and read it. It takes them a second to read, like a very very long moment, but
Hmm.
seems to make them happy.
Yeah. There are like legit statues a part of this set piece that are like not these weird wooden carved ones. Uh, like they're statues that are built into the village. A lot of them do have plaques that are written in Giantish. Uh, Probably because they were written by a giant.
Mm, makes sense.
Yep. Um, there's like three main giant statues. There's Let me see if I can remember descriptions off the top of my head. Um,
Mm.
there's one that looks
The
like no, go ahead.
it's if you want to spare yourself the description, would Coriolis be able to connect the dots between that and the tale that they heard from him of the two heroes and the who didn't have or the three heroes who didn't have names.
Yes, yes, they
Mm,
would. Um, there are those, and there are those. Yes. Um, and there off in the distance where some of those more giantish statues are. Um, there are like there are what seems to be like work tables. Um, some big, some very very small. Uh, that are all in like different stages of creating different works of art, like stone sculptures, different sorts of furniture, um, and I am patting my dog. I don't know if you can hear this, um,
mm,
but I can play her like a drum.
Bongo puppy. Bongo M's.
Bongo ends. But it's it's a very nice little quaint town.
Hmm. Yeah, they just like this is wonderful. I don't know if I would have well, if there's one thing that anyone from the Fleet of Storms knows, it's Wanderlust, but I would come back every moment that I could.
Huh. It's been a while. It's been a long while.
Mm,
I should write to my mother again.
you should. Perhaps you can show me these mountains in person someday.
Oh, definitely. They've probably changed a lot since I've last been there.
Mm. Like if they're standing still for a second, they're just turning round and round and round because it's been a really long time since they've been any place that has people like them in it.
Mhm.
Like they love their family. They have mixed feelings about their ship, but and they love Einquil and they love all the different places they've been. But it's strange not to be other for even in just this sort of this pale remembrance.
Mhm. Uh,
And we just look
bless
grateful to see it.
you. Mhm. I do a wiggle at you. Uh, I want to do more lore now. Fuck.
Mm.
because we don't get to visit here often. Surprisingly. um, would you like to roll another perception?
Sure. Do-do-do.
Miss Emma, do you want to escape now? You look
Dirty
like you
20.
kind of want to escape. That is not escaping. That is in fact being a nuisance. What'd you say?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Coriolis, you see another statue. This statue is a stone statue, like a pure stone statue. Um, and it's sort of carved not into the side of anything, but it's not one of the major statues, though it kind of looks like a similar maker. Um, but it it is a figure of a half giant. Um,
Mm.
uh, a half giant lady. Um, she's carved almost entirely from stone, except for her hair, which is made out of this sort of different colored rocks that are I'm still petting my dog. That kind of make her have like a wash of rainbowed hair, all in like these sort of dreadlocks. Um,
Mm.
and in giantish, arched, etched, um, etched
Mm.
onto like the little plaque. It says the lady, and
The the lady.
yes,
Am I
the
reading
lady.
that right?
Um, well, yeah, that's what she's called. Uh, and I'm going to say Coriolis with a dirty 20 on perception. You can notice that there's something not quite like there's something a little off about how she looks. She isn't depicted with a mouth, like at all.
Mm.
Uh, it some of her proportions doesn't like they seem more fantastical than normal. Almost kind of toonish in nature.
Is she a Hafton?
Uh, maybe I've never met her.
Mm.
She's really, really old.
Mm. She's that old. She might have been pre pre calamity tune.
Perhaps, but she did come from here in particular. That's her father's workshop over there.
We sort of they look and hmm. I wonder. But they don't finish the thought out loud.
You wonder. I mean,
I
no, go ahead.
there's a part of me that I was separated without from my family without being able to say goodbye. I'm sure that they looked. I wonder if they came here.
Huh? I I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe
It's you would have been gone by the time they did, but
I could always ask around.
honestly, I don't know which of them to ask for. It's my mother probably wouldn't be able to leave the fleet for long. I have no idea what my sister would have done. My father, no idea. My brother might have come here. Mm. Or maybe my grandmother.
Hmm. I'll have full context, but I could send a letter to my mother if you'd wish.
Mm,
She'll get it. She always
that
does.
perhaps once you have all of yourself again.
Hmm.
Or perhaps I can ask her in person.
Ask her in
Or
person.
ask her on myself. I think that you mentioned she was in town.
My mother's in town? I don't remember seeing my mother. I think I would have remembered
Well,
that.
in Toontown. I don't know that you had met up with her yet, but
Hmm. That doesn't seem correct. That, no, that's you're right. That just doesn't make sense. Um.
I I want to walk the line between wanting to listen and wanting to help and not wanting to ask you things that you would not tell me normally. But why doesn't it make sense?
Because at the end of this all, I was going to come back to my mother and tell her everything. She's right here. It doesn't make sense for me to just take a waypoint. It's like, I love my mother.
No one ever said that you don't.
I don't get it.
Oh,
Oh?
she would have known,
Known what?
wouldn't she? That something had happened that you couldn't tell her about.
Perhaps.
That
Perhaps.
is, if there was a chance that I would stand in front of my mother again, that is probably what I would be scared of. That she would see that I was different.
Mm. He looks like vaguely discomforted by this knowledge. Like, surprised she hasn't tried to get in contact with me somehow.
Mm, perhaps she's looking.
Perhaps.
Perhaps she's giving you space.
You said she was in Toontown, right?
That's what you said.
My mother's not the best with technology. She's not the best at sort of modernized areas. Cars are a thing. Cars are a thing. Oh, she's. Hmm. She might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, actually.
You should go seek out your mother
I should go seek
when
out my
this is
mother.
done. If you want, I'll come help.
Uh, if Seeker hasn't done it before, you may have to go drag him.
Do you want me to drag him?
Yes.
I'll drag him.
Alright.
I
There's
promise.
there's a there's like a steadfast nod. It's alright, I'll hold you to that. Somehow.
Mm,
Have you ever been in a snowball fight before?
nope. We used to throw sand at each other sometimes.
Hmm. Well? Can you roll me a dex save?
Can they spend a key point to use deflect missiles?
Sure.
Mm. Hey, how much damage do you think? Or actually, excuse me. First, I roll um dex,
Mhm.
and if it hits, and if I reduce the damage past another thing, then I can catch it.
Uh huh.
So I think actually you need to make a ranged attack.
I did. That's an 18.
Oh, okay. Oh, their armor class is 20.
Oh shit. You d-
I'm still going to spend a key point to just like Coriolis, like without even looking, grabs it out of the air and goes no.
You don't have fun.
They're like, do you really want me to throw this back?
I mean, do you want to throw it back at me?
If I do, I get proficiency.
Do it. Bet.
All right, let's see. Do.
That is in fact the pitch to my college library and not the spell list.
Mm. Oh my gosh, in that one.
Uh, can I you like
Wait, it. Oh, I've got an idea for why this doesn't work, but also
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say that like they rear back to throw it, and like there's a click in their elbow, and they look back in time to see their forearm disconnect from the rest of their arm.
Mhm.
Mm. They're going to turn around and um grab the arm still holding the snowball, um and 21 to hit.
That hits.
They throw the entire arm with the snowball at Sunshine.
Oi! They get beamed. They get beamed over the head with an arm.
They're just like, yeah,
God. I.
just
You know what? You're a larger target than me. How about I even the playing field a little? Tosses the arm back. Um,
mm,
hey, there's a sort of cackle. Um, and Seeker's going to cast polymorph on himself. uh, there's Coriolis, you hear this sort of like crinkling, crunching sound. Emma, don't lick that. Don't. Stop it.
baby.
Uh, there's a crinkling, cracking, crunching sound. And Coriolis, um, there's there's a weird sort of. It kind of looks like the shift, like someone's built, uh, rapidly built a larger snow sculpture that's sort of clicked into place and then formed into reality. And you are facing down this giant woolly elephant creature
Is
that
that a
has
mammoth?
that is a mammoth.
Okay.
And uh this mammoth takes its tusks, digs them into the earth, and flings snow at you.
Roll to attack, please.
I will. 21.
Just hits.
Uh, you do not have damage dealt to you. You are now covered in snow. Um,
Mm. I think that, like, actually, could they spend another key point to deflect missiles?
uh,
Because I think it's really funny.
I'm I'm going to say, I really want to say no.
Mm. Fair
Uh,
enough.
by the
In that
way, Seeker
case,
is now taller than you. Because
mm,
he is classified as a huge beast.
mm-hmm. But oh, you know what they could do?
Mhm.
Um, they are going to use one key point to use Step of the Wind, which allows them to disengage or dash, and doubles their jump distance. And they're going to scale the woolly mammoth.
Roll me an athletics check.
Sure. Athletics
Wait,
is
Emma, stop that. Sorry, my dog.
please. I hold Emma very soft and also you. 15.
You, Emma, stop. I'm sorry, beloved. She's
You're
getting
good, you're good.
antsy. Um, you
Ghosty.
climb this. You climb this woolly mammoth that is Seeker. Um, and uh, there's the elephant noise. I cannot do the elephant noise. Um,
Mm.
if Dew was here, I would contract Dew to do the elephant noise for me. But
We'll edit in later, except we won't because I don't know how.
same. Um, and God, you can hear like the complaining in his voice. Um,
Mhm.
he will do something if you don't get off.
I mean, I think that they're just going to like. I think that they're going to ready an action to just sort of like navigate if he decides to roll over or pluck them off, or they're just going to um they're just going to sit there laughing and just be ready to be squirmy.
God. Uh, God. Uh, I will say, Seeker is going to roll over, like fully sort of into the snow. Um, and
Mm.
do we want to
Could
end
I
it off?
roll acrobatics to sort of like?
Beloved, I love you, but we need to
Yes,
wrap this up.
fair enough.
We cannot have a whole fake combat session while my dog is licking the floor. Um, she is being a criminal and I can't stop her.
Mm. All right, it's as they do snow shenanigans. It cuts up to the blue sky and then back down to them laying in the snow, so we can like have an ending scene.
Okay. I mean, I was just going to end it on them having a snow fight, but
Mm.
you didn't want to have a snow fight because you threw the snow back at me. Um, it's fine. Uh, they are both covered in snow. Congratulations.
I hand you like it's because mammoth, like, you know how f- snow gets stuck on fur
Yeah.
when sunshine changes back, all of that clumps up so it looks like he's wearing snow armor.
Yes. God.
And I hand you him being like, well, I'm covered in snow. The ultimate revenge is definitely just flopping on Coriolis.
Definitely, totally, and they do it. Just Coriolis, you are now also covered in snow because Sunshine is covered in snow.
Mm, they don't mind. They're already dead. You can't get colder. Um,
Mm.
and they just sort of hoist him into their arms and just sort of like teddy bear hold.
Uh, Sunshine kind of stretches and, you know, you're not half bad.
Mm, I still feel like I've gone down and I feel like I've depleted somehow. We went from flirting to half bad.
Hmm.
If you look up at them at all, like they're sort of sly smile.
Hmm. Ah, of course, this is sort of a lovers to friends to enemies arc. Of course.
Oh, to be sure. We'll be
Yes.
at each other's throats by I'll say dawn.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Actually, in all seriousness, I grabbed our healer and left as soon I as we exchanged thoughts um during your battle.
Isn't that bad?
So I can't tell you when we'll get um to the story, but we are on our way.
I'll keep you updated, alright?
Please. Hey, magic. What are
Yes.
those rolls for?
Don't worry about it.
I'm worrying about it.
Don't worry about it. I'll tell you afterwards.
Mm,
Uh,
just I I wasn't lying. I believe you can take care of yourself. And honestly, I don't have any right to tell you what to do.
uh-huh.
But just we spent a long time looking for you.
Hmm.
And there's a little bit of a catch to their voice when they say that. I don't want to lose you.
Well, you won't lose me. There's there was I'll be honest, I wasn't listening at the time. I was preoccupied. There was a
Good.
mentioned way that memories could possibly be returned. Um, I don't know much about it. Something about religion. That's not mine. Emma, hey, stop it. Sorry. Uh,
Criminal puppy.
criminal puppy. She's licking my floor. I don't know what to do
Heavens.
about it.
She's like, go to bed. Stop doing that.
She
Have it not be.
honestly, that could be it. That could be it, or she needs to go outside. Um,
Mm,
but yeah,
regardless,
it'll get fixed.
it will. In the meantime, just take care of yourself. Stay out of trouble,
Oh,
and
I plan to. Do you know how bad in shape that body is? My
they
body's
sort of look
technically.
at him.
I am not eating enough at all for the type of figure I want.
I hmm.
I am a dancer. You need muscle for that. I am a twig.
I don't know that I've ever seen you dance.
Never, never. The net. Okay, this is getting fixed. Get up. Come
Oh,
on.
sorry. Right now,
Yes.
there's no music.
I'll make music. Don't worry about it. It's kind of my job.
They they get up out of the snow.
All right. Uh, do we want to do one final performance check?
Sure. Can they both have advantage because they're not dancing alone?
Yeah.
What's your performance? It's so weird having a character with actually any performance at all.
That's an at 20 from Seeker's End, or from Sunshine's End.
All right. Oh, good thing too. That's a 2 and a 3, or
Uh,
technically a 5 and a 6.
eh. Uh, Coriolis, you were somehow pulled to follow in this dance. Um, while Sunshine is both providing the music, with a very good voice,
Mm,
that rings with all of the clarity that Beacons has, and also, he's got some fucking moves.
mm.
He dips you somehow at some point.
I'm dying because they do know how to. You know what? One sec. May I please use that natural 19, which is a
Yes,
22?
yes, you
Mm.
may.
It takes them a second because it's been a depressingly long time and a lot's happened since the last time they danced.
Mhm.
But like as they get pulled into it, their eyes are on you, Sunshine, and they are smiling and they are looking at you like they recognize you.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not a type of dance that like their style, like they can follow what you're doing well enough, but it's clear that it's not what they're used to. But
Mhm.
even so, it's it's good.
Yeah.
And I think that like gradually they wake up with sort of this like with the emotions of the dance in their chest.
Mm.
Um and I have a little bit of an epilogue. I don't know if you do.
I am. Hi, Emma. Um, I have just one thing to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Those emotions may be in his chest. But he has a pounding fucking headache. Ow.
Mm,
He doesn't regret drinking. But also he kind of does.
mm.
You can go ahead with your epilogue if you want to.
Yeah, it's Coriolis wakes with much more grace than Sunshine's hangover allows him. And they are laying on cold ground underneath a tree somewhere, sort of on the road and provisions. No one is still asleep, so they have privacy to just sort of like sit up and get their bearings. Um, their coat is back around their shoulders instead of around Sunshine's. Um, and they sort of sit up and they breathe the very cold air and they think of the mountain. And they sort of like they smile and it is so heartfelt and they love him so much. And then they take that last emotion and they sort of like, mm, yeah, he's a good friend. And then they shove it away before they can look at it any closer. Anyways,
God. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Or
mm,
listening, technically. Author, beloved, I give you a big hug. Sorry for the rushed
mm,
ending.
I give you a kiss.
She's still rebelling. Um, but
Emma, no,
yeah, I'm glad to do this with you. I give you a hug.
I give you a hug back. Yeah,
Hmm.
going to
Yeah.
stop recording. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.